Listen to me and listen good. Some of y'all need to hear this today because it's been eating you alive. Stop running to people who ain't running to you. Stop chasing folks who can't even meet you halfway. You keep pouring your time, your energy, your love into people who wouldn't give you a glass of water if you were dying of thirst. Every time they call, you jump. Every time they mess up, you forgive before they even apologize. You bend over backwards and they can't even lean forward for you. And let me tell you why you're doing it. It's because you think if you love hard enough, help enough, show up enough, they'll finally see your value. No. People who can't see your value now will never see it later. That's like trying to convince somebody the sun is hot while you're both standing outside in July. If they still don't get it, that's not your problem, it's theirs. Life is too short for you to be begging for a spot in someone's life. If they want you there, you won't have to fight for it. The right people will match your energy. They'll call you back. They'll check on you. They'll care about how you feel without you having to spell it out. See, the problem isn't that you love too much. The problem is you love without boundaries. And boundaries are not walls, they're doors. They let the right people in and keep the wrong people out. When you stop running to people, you start running towards yourself. And when you choose yourself, you start attracting the kind of people who choose you back. So today, make a decision. Stop chasing. Stop explaining. Stop giving discounts on your worth. You're not on clearance. You are full price. If they can't afford the price of respect, consistency, and loyalty, then they don't get the product. The moment you stop running to them, you'll finally have the time and space to see the ones who have been standing still, waiting for you to notice. They've been on your side the whole time. You are not hard to love. You're just loving the wrong ones. Now stand tall, take a deep breath, and walk in the other direction. The people who truly deserve you, they'll meet you there. Stop chasing people who won't meet you halfway. This is one of the hardest lessons in life because it goes against the way many of us were raised to think about relationships. We're taught to be loyal, to stand by people, to forgive, and to try again. Those are good qualities, beautiful ones, even when they're being poured into the right people. But the truth is, loyalty to the wrong person becomes self-destruction. You can be pouring your heart into a bucket with holes in it, and no matter how much you give, it will never be enough to fill them. When someone truly wants you in their life, you will not have to chase them. You won't have to beg for their attention, convince them of your worth, or constantly remind them that you exist. Real connection is reciprocal. It's mutual effort. It's not you carrying 90% of the load while they occasionally toss you a crumb of affection to keep you hanging on. If you keep running towards someone who keeps walking away, you're not in a relationship. You're in a chase, and the chase will leave you tired, hurt, and questioning your value. The dangerous part about chasing is that it makes you believe you're fighting for love or friendship, when in reality, you're fighting for someone's basic interest in you. It's not love if it's one-sided. It's not loyalty if it's not returned. The moment you stop chasing, you'll see the truth. The only reason the relationship survived this long was because you kept it alive. You were the one making the calls, sending the texts, initiating the plans, and forgiving the disrespect. You were the glue holding it together while they were barely present. You have to understand this. If they wanted to, they would. If they wanted to call you, they would. If they wanted to be there for you, they would. If they wanted to make you feel valued, you wouldn't have to hint at it. They just do it. Life is too short to keep trying to teach someone how to treat you like you matter. You deserve to be around people who see your worth without you having to put it on display like a sales pitch. The moment you stop chasing people, you stop sending the message that your time and energy are cheap. You begin to set a standard for how you want to be treated. And here's the beautiful part. When you stop chasing the wrong people, the right ones suddenly become visible. They were always there, maybe in the background, maybe overlooked, but you couldn't see them because your eyes were fixed on the ones running away. The right people will walk beside you, not ahead of you, not behind you. They'll meet you halfway because they value the connection as much as you do. It's also important to realize that some people only stay connected to you because they know you'll keep making the effort. You're their safety net, their backup plan, their comfort zone. But you're not meant to be someone's emotional crutch. You are not a pit stop where they only come for fuel before leaving again. You're a person with your own needs, dreams, and boundaries. The longer you keep running after people who can't meet you halfway, the more you delay the relationships that actually deserve your investment. Sometimes the reason you keep chasing is because you're scared of what will happen if you stop. You think they'll leave and you'll be left alone. But here's the truth. You're already alone in that relationship. Physical presence doesn't mean emotional presence. You can be surrounded by people and still feel lonely if none of them truly meet you halfway. Letting go doesn't mean you failed. It means you recognized your worth and refused to waste it on someone who couldn't see it. Stopping the chase is not an act of bitterness. It's an act of self-respect. It's telling yourself, I deserve more than breadcrumbs. I deserve the feast. And when you finally stop running to them, you'll find that you have more energy, more peace, and more more time to invest in yourself. You'll learn to enjoy your own company, to build your own happiness, and to attract people who want to add to your life, not drain it. The truth is, love, friendship, and respect are not supposed to be exhausting. Yes, they take effort, but it's the kind of effort that feels natural and rewarding because it's mutual. When it's right, you won't feel like you're constantly chasing something you can never catch. You'll feel safe, valued, and appreciated, and you'll wonder why you ever thought you had to run after people in the first place. So if you're tired, if you're worn out from always being the one to reach out, to fix, to mend, to hold together, take this as your sign. Stop chasing. Let them go if they can't meet you halfway. The ones meant for you will never make you run to exhaustion to prove your place in their life. They'll walk with you, hand in hand, step by step, without you ever having to beg them to keep up. Your worth doesn't need convincing. The biggest mistake so many people make in relationships, whether romantic, family, or friendships, is thinking that if they just do enough, give enough, or love enough, the other person will finally see their value. That mindset traps you in an endless cycle of overgiving and under-receiving. It makes you believe you have to earn what should be freely given: respect, love, care, and loyalty. But here's the truth. People who genuinely value you don't need a presentation, proof, or a list of reasons to treat you right. They see it from the beginning. They know it without you having to prove it over and over again. When you spend your life trying to convince someone of your worth, you're essentially telling them that their opinion about you matters more than your own. That's a dangerous place to be, because it hands them all the power over your self-esteem. One wrong word from them, one moment of rejection, and you feel like your entire sense of self has been shattered. You cannot allow anyone to hold that much control over how you see yourself. Your worth is not determined by how others treat you. It's determined by who you are, your character, and the values you live by. Convincing people of your value also leads to resentment. You end up doing things not from a place of love or joy, but from a place of fear. Fear that if you stop, they'll leave. You give more than you have, tolerate things you shouldn't, and silence your needs so you don't scare them away. But think about it. If someone's presence in your life depends on you constantly proving you're good enough, is that really love? Is that really friendship? Or is it just conditional tolerance? Real love and real connection are not performance-based. You shouldn't have to put on a show every day to keep your place in someone's heart. The people who truly see your worth will treat you with consistency. They won't show you affection only when they need something from you or when it's convenient for them. They won't make you feel like you're walking on eggshells, constantly wondering if today will be the day they decide you're not good enough anymore. Instead, they will respect you, even in disagreement. They will care for you, even when it's not easy. They will show up for you, even when there's nothing in it for them. That's because they're not blind to your value. They recognize it and honor it. When you stop trying to convince people of your worth, you start protecting your energy. You stop pouring yourself out for those who can't appreciate what they're holding. You stop giving discounts to people who are just browsing but never buying. And when you do that, something powerful happens. You start attracting people who match your energy. People who give as much as they take. People who meet you with the same respect you offer. People who make you feel safe being exactly who you are. It's important to remember that not everyone will recognize your value, and that's okay. You are not for everyone, and everyone is not for you. When someone doesn't see your worth, it doesn't mean you have none. It means they're not capable of seeing it, and sometimes that's because they don't even recognize their own worth. People who are broken, insecure, or emotionally unavailable often can't fully appreciate someone who offers genuine love and stability. That's not a reflection of you, it's a reflection of them. Trying to convince someone of your value is like trying to explain the beauty of the ocean to someone who's never seen water. You can describe it all you want, but they won't truly get it until they have the ability to see it for themselves. And if they're not ready or willing to see, no amount of explanation will change that. That's why you have to stop chasing that recognition from the wrong places. When you know your worth, you stop settling. You stop entertaining half efforts and empty promises. You stop accepting maybe when you deserve absolutely. You stop rearranging your life to fit into someone else's small view of you. And most importantly, you stop allowing other people's inability to value you to make you doubt yourself. You begin to move with confidence, knowing that the right people will never need convincing. They'll just get it. The beautiful thing about valuing yourself is that it sets a standard for how others treat you. If you walk into a store and the product has no price tag, people will try to get it for as little as possible. But when the price is clear, firm, and unapologetic, the ones who truly want it will pay it without argument. Your value is the same. Make it known through the way you carry yourself, the way you speak about yourself, and the way you enforce your boundaries. At the end of the day, you are the one who sets the tone for how others treat you. If you spend your life convincing people you're worthy, you'll attract people who always need convincing. But if you walk in your worth from the start, you'll attract those who already see it and respect it. Stop proving, stop persuading, stop begging. You are not on trial. You are the verdict, and the right people will never need a closing argument to choose you. Set boundaries, not walls. This is one of the most important principles for protecting your peace while still allowing love and connection into your life. Too many people misunderstand boundaries and think they're about pushing others away or shutting the world out. In reality, boundaries are about defining what's acceptable for you, what you will and won't tolerate, and how you expect to be treated. They're not about keeping everyone out. They're about making sure the right people come in and the wrong people stay out. When you don't have boundaries, you leave yourself open to being drained, manipulated, and taken advantage of. People will take as much as you allow them to take, not necessarily because they're evil, but because human nature often leans toward convenience. If you're always available, always saying yes, and always sacrificing your needs for others, they may begin to expect it as normal. Over time, you start to feel resentful, not because they're asking, but because you're not protecting yourself with clear limits. Boundaries are a sign of self-respect. They say, I value myself enough to protect my time, my energy, and my mental health. This doesn't mean you stop helping people or showing compassion. It means you help within healthy limits. For example, it's okay to say, I can't talk right now, but I can call you later. It's okay to decline an invitation because you need rest. It's okay to walk away from conversations that are disrespectful or abusive. These actions don't make you selfish. They make you healthy. The difference between boundaries and walls is that walls shut everyone out, even the good people. Walls are built out of fear of getting hurt, fear of being disappointed, fear of vulnerability. Boundaries, on the other hand, are built out of wisdom. They come from knowing your worth and understanding that not everyone should have the same level of access to you. The right people will respect your boundaries. They will see them not as barriers, but as a sign that you take yourself seriously. The wrong people will see them as an inconvenience because boundaries get in the way of them using or draining you. One of the biggest challenges people face with boundaries is the guilt that comes with setting them. You might worry about hurting someone's feelings or losing their approval. But the truth is, the people who love you for real will understand. And those who get angry or offended when you set a boundary are often the ones who benefited from you having none. If someone walks away because you drew a line, that's a blessing in disguise. It means they were never in your life for the right reasons. Another misconception is that boundaries are only for dealing with toxic people. While it's true that boundaries protect you from harm, they're also important in healthy relationships. Even the most loving relationships need limits to thrive. Without them, one person can unintentionally overstep or drain the other without realizing it. Boundaries create clarity. They help avoid misunderstandings and ensure that both people's needs are respected. Setting boundaries starts with knowing yourself. You have to be clear on what drains you, what triggers you, and what makes you feel respected and valued. Once you know those things, you can communicate them clearly. But here's the key. You can't just set boundaries verbally. You have to enforce them through action. If you say you won't tolerate disrespect but continue engaging with someone who insults you, your words lose meaning. Boundaries only work if you back them up with consistent behavior. Boundaries also require you to be okay with not being liked by everyone. The truth is, you will lose some people when you start setting them, especially if they were used to the version of you who said yes to everything. But losing people who take advantage of you is not a loss, it's a gain. It makes room for healthier, more balanced connections where your needs are just as important as theirs. Think of boundaries like the fence around your home. You don't put up a fence to trap yourself inside. You put it up to protect what's inside from harm while still allowing access through the gate to those you trust. You control who comes in and how far they're allowed to go. The same is true for your emotional and mental space. Not everyone deserves full access to your life, your heart, or your time. Boundaries help you decide who gets to come close and who has to stay at a distance. At first, setting boundaries can feel uncomfortable, especially if you're not used to it. People may question you, push back, or try to test your limits. That's why consistency is important. Every time you stick to your boundaries, you reinforce the message that you value yourself. And over time, people will either learn to respect them or remove themselves from your life. Either way, you win. The beauty of healthy boundaries is that they don't just protect you, they also improve your relationships. They create mutual respect, clear expectations, and a sense of safety. You're no longer operating out of fear, exhaustion, or resentment. Instead, you're engaging with others from a place of balance and choice. The people who remain in your life are there because they respect you, not because they can get something out of you. Boundaries aren't selfish, they're necessary. They're not about shutting love out. They're about making sure the love you receive is real, healthy, and respectful. And when you master the art of setting them, you stop feeling drained by your relationships and start feeling nourished by them. That's the power of boundaries done right. Choosing yourself attracts the right people. Many people struggle with this idea because they've been taught that putting themselves first is selfish, that love is about sacrifice, and that being a good friend or partner means constantly putting others' needs ahead of their own. But the truth is, when you always put yourself last, you not only burn yourself out, you also end up surrounded by people who are comfortable with you giving more than you get. Choosing yourself doesn't mean neglecting others. It means valuing yourself enough to not lose who you are in the process of caring for them. When you choose yourself, you set the tone for how others treat you. You teach people what's acceptable by what you tolerate. If you constantly accept disrespect, broken promises, or one-sided relationships, you send the message that your time and energy are cheap. But when you start valuing your peace, your time, and your boundaries, you naturally begin attracting people who respect those things too. People who genuinely care about you will never be threatened by your self-respect. They'll be drawn to it. They'll see it as a sign of confidence and stability, and they'll match that energy. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking they have to chase love, friendship, or acceptance. They believe that the more they do for someone, the more that person will value them. But real connection isn't earned by overextending yourself. It's formed when two people see each other's worth and choose to invest equally. When you stop chasing and start choosing yourself, you create space for relationships that are based on mutual respect, rather than desperation or obligation. Choosing yourself also means walking away from situations that drain you. It's not about being cold-hearted or unforgiving. It's about knowing when enough is enough. Sometimes the hardest thing you can do is let go of someone you care about, because the relationship is costing you your peace, your joy, or your self-worth. But when you release what's not meant for you, you make room for what is. And often the people who enter your life after you make that decision will treat you better because you've raised your standards. Another powerful thing about choosing yourself is that it changes your energy. When you're constantly running after people, you operate from a place of lack. You're trying to fill a void, to get someone to give you what you're not giving yourself. But when you choose yourself, you shift into abundance. You no longer rely on others to make you feel whole. That kind of self-assurance is magnetic. People can sense when you're confident in who you are and when you're not depending on them for your happiness. It makes them respect you more, and it draws the right kind of people into your life, those who want to add to your happiness, not be the only source of it. It's also important to realize that choosing yourself doesn't mean you won't be alone sometimes. In fact, when you first start, you might lose a few people, especially those who benefited from your lack of boundaries or your willingness to put them first every time. This can feel lonely at first, but it's a necessary part of the process. Think of it like clearing out your closet. You have to remove the clothes that no longer fit or serve you before you can make space for the ones that do. The same goes for relationships. Once you let go of the wrong ones, the right ones have a chance to find you. Choosing yourself also gives you the clarity to recognize who's truly meant for you. When you're desperate for connection, you'll accept almost anyone into your life, even if they don't treat you well. But when you're secure in yourself, you can spot red flags faster. You can tell the difference between someone who genuinely values you and someone who just wants to use you. This means you waste less time on the wrong people and invest more in the ones who truly matter. People who are drawn to someone who has chosen themselves are usually those who have done the same work. They understand the importance of balance, respect, and mutual effort. These are the kinds of relationships that feel safe, stable, and nourishing. You don't have to perform or prove yourself, because you're both operating from a place of self-respect and mutual appreciation. And because you're not afraid to walk away from what's wrong, you naturally create a space where only what's right remains. In the end, choosing yourself is not an act of selfishness. It's an act of self-preservation. It's saying, I will not abandon myself to keep someone else. It's understanding that you can care about others deeply without sacrificing your own well-being. And when you operate from that place of balance, the relationships you build will be stronger, healthier, and longer lasting. The right people will never ask you to choose between them and yourself. They'll want you to choose yourself, because they know that's when you're at your best. When you choose yourself, you stop living for the approval of others and start living in alignment with your own values and happiness. And that's when life has a way of aligning you with people who appreciate you exactly as you are. No chasing, no proving, no begging, just mutual respect, mutual love, and mutual effort. That's the power of choosing yourself.